What is up, everybody? It's Animac here for Anime Uproar, and with season 2 of My Hero Academia ending, we thought that it would be a good idea to make a video where we talk about all of the new characters that will be appearing in the upcoming third season of My Hero Academia. We will be explaining who they are and what their quirks are right here in one place. But while I will be talking about their background and powers, I will do my best to avoid plot spoilers. This means that I will explain who they are without telling you what happens to them in the story. Some of these characters were briefly teased in season 2 already, and season 3 will introduce us to new villains, new top-ranked pro heroes, new students from other schools, and more. So if you can't wait to find out who these people are and how their quirks work, you've come to the right place. If you enjoyed this type of video and want to see more videos like it, be sure to text or smash that like button to let me know. We have a lot of My Hero Academia videos already on the channel, and many more are on the way, so if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you want to help us decide what type of videos we should make next, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Anime Uproar, because we will be creating polls for you guys to vote on what types of videos you want to see here on the channel. And without further ado, let's get into it. I believe that My Hero Academia Season 3 is definitely going to cover the school trip arc and the hideout raid arc, and I potentially think that if it's a full season, it will also cover the hero license exam arc. So starting things off, at the very beginning of the school trip arc, we meet the Pussycats, a pro hero team specializing in mountain rescue. This team is made up of 4 members, including Mandalay, whose real name is Shino Sosaki. The name of her quirk is Telepath, its type is Emitter, and it works at long range. Her quirk enables Mandalay to communicate with several people at one time through telepathy, but since the people she is communicating with are not telepaths, they are able to receive information from her, but they cannot respond. She scores a 5 out of 5 in cooperativeness according to the My Hero Academia character book, and this makes sense since her quirk is perfect for a team player. Did I say perfect? Because I meant perfect, get it? Pussycat. Okay, I'm moving on. Aside from her quirk, Mandalay is also very athletic, which makes her effective in hand-to-hand combat. Then we have Pixie Bob. Her real name is Ryuko Tsuchikawa, and she is an energetic and attractive woman. But due to the fact that she is 31 years old and still not married, she is shown to be actively looking for a male suitor, and she is not above flirting with male UA students like Deku and Todoroki. The name of her quirk is Earth Flow, its type is Emitter, and it works at long range. Her quirk enables Pixie Bob to control and reshape the earth around her and use it as both a tool and a weapon in combat. I guess you can say that she is basically an earthbender. Next is Ragdoll. Real name Tomoko Shiretoko, she is known for being extremely energetic, and she was at one point ranked as the number 32 pro hero. The name of her quirk is Search, its type is Emitter, and it is target based. With the help of her quirk, Ragdoll is able to conduct surveillance on up to 100 people at a time, and she can sense both their current location and their potential weaknesses. And the final member of the Pussycats is Tiger. He is the only male member of the group, and he is also the only one who takes his hero name from a wildcat species. Mandalay, Pixie Bob, and Ragdoll are all species of house cats. Tiger is strict and tough, and he believes that everyone, including the young UA students, must undergo rigorous training if they want to become real heroes. The name of his quirk is Pliabody, essentially meaning pliable body. Its type is Transformation, and it works at close range. As a result of his quirk, Tiger can stretch his body in impossible ways, which allows him to get through extremely narrow and cramped spots, and this comes in handy with the rescue missions that he is often involved with. Even though his body is pliable, Tiger is still physically strong, and he scores a 5 out of 5 in power according to the My Hero Academia character book. During the school trip arc, we also meet Kota, a 5-year-old boy who is the nephew of Pussycat member Mandalay. Kota's parents were a husband and wife pro hero team known as Waterhorse. They both had water-type quirks, and they were killed in action while fighting to protect innocent civilians from a powerful villain. Although they lost their lives, they managed to save the civilians by injuring the villain to the point that he was unable to continue his attack. Even though Kota's parents are celebrated as heroes, he was deeply affected by their deaths. He feels that his parents abandoned him by choosing to risk their lives as pro-heroes instead of just being normal parents. And as a result, Kota hates quirks and the current society in which pro-heroes and villains use their quirks to pointlessly fight each other. At first, he is very cynical and even aggressive towards the UA students, but after Deku rescues him from a villain, he is grateful to Deku for helping him even though the two of them barely knew each other. Kota is shown to have a water-based quirk just like his parents, but we only get to see a very brief glimpse of it. And now let's jump into the villains who will also play a major role in the school trip arc. First we have Gidon, a broker and scout who looks for new villains to join the League of Villains. We saw a glimpse of him in Season 2, and his primary concern is making a profit, and he has little interest in the well-being of other people. He is known for always smoking a cigarette and having a smirk on his face. The nature of his quirk is still unknown to us, but we do know that Gidon has exceptional business savvy and close connections to the criminal underworld. And now we have to talk about the Vanguard Action Squad, a group of 10 new recruits affiliated with the League of Villains who are considered to be an elite villain fighting force. We do catch some glimpses of these villains in Season 2, and first we have Dobby. After the public learned about Stain and his philosophy, Dobby was one of the people who was inspired to follow in Stain's footsteps and finish what Stain had started. He joined the League of Villains in the mistaken belief that Stain was affiliated with them. Dobby has a very interesting appearance as large portions of his skin are dark purple and seem to be sewn to the rest of his body with stitches, which definitely reminds me of the Frankenstein monster. Dobby has a fire-based quirk which allows him to generate powerful dark flames that he can then use to destroy his enemies. His chosen villain name Dobby means cremation in Japanese, which makes sense when we consider his deadly fire-based quirk. But interestingly enough, he refuses to reveal his real name, and I wonder if there is a good reason for that. Then we have Himiko Tolga. Just like Dobby, Tolga joined the League of Villains in order to follow in the footsteps of her idol Stain, or Stainy as she calls him. Although she claims that her goal is to make the world a better place in the way that Stain had wanted to, she exhibits signs of being mentally unstable. The name of her quirk is Transform, and the type is obviously Transformation. Tolga's quirk allows her to change her appearance in order to look and sound like a completely different person if she is able to consume enough of that person's blood. On top of that, if she holds her breath and clears her mind, she can actually appear invisible to her opponents during a battle. She carries a pocket knife that allows her to drain the blood of her opponents so that she can use her quirk, and she also carries a blood draining machine on her back that lets her drain the blood quickly. She isn't very strong physically, her power rank is only 1 out of 5, but she has excellent reflexes and makes up for what she lacks in power with her agility, speed, and of course, stealth. Next is a villain known as Mustard. A teen villain with a unique appearance, Mustard is known for wearing a school uniform along with a gas mask and green army helmet. On top of his quirk, he also uses a revolver pistol as a weapon, and he isn't afraid to use it. His quirk is referred to as sleep gas, its type is emitter, and it works at long range. This quirk enables Mustard to create gas that puts people to sleep. He is able to control the gas, and he can also sense the movements of anyone who is located inside the zone where the gas has spread. As he is not immune to the effects of his own quirk, Mustard has to wear a gas mask whenever he is using it. His name is most likely a reference to mustard gas, a deadly chemical weapon first used by the German army in World War I. Then we have Twice. Twice's real name is Jin Bubaigawara, and he is another villain who exhibits signs of mental instability. When he isn't wearing his villain costume, he is shown to have an identity crisis and seems to lose control of himself until he puts the mask on, which calms him down. The name of his quirk is Double, its type is emitter, and it works on contact. This quirk enables Twice to create clones of himself or others by touching them. He previously used this power to clone himself over and over again in order to create an army of clones which he then used to help him finish various tasks. But because each clone retains the same personality as the original, the clones could not determine who was the real Twice, and they turned on each other. At this point, Twice isn't even sure if he is the original or if he is simply one of his own clones, which results in his identity crisis. When one of the clones he creates with his quirk is destroyed, it dissolves into a dark liquid. Next is Spinner. This villain has a distinctly reptilian appearance and the face of a lizard. As yet another villain who was greatly inspired by Stain, Spinner's mask and clothing are designed to copy what Stain himself wore. The most interesting part about him is his strange weapon, which is a giant makeshift sword made up of all sorts of different smaller blades. Despite how big and heavy it is, Spinner is able to use the sword with exceptional speed, which makes us think that maybe his quirk could be related to superhuman reptilian strength. And then we come to Muscular. As his name suggests, Muscular is a muscle-bound villain. He has a distinctive scar on his face and a prosthetic eye. He is sadistic and violent, and he takes pleasure in killing people, including innocent civilians. Muscular was the villain who killed Kota's parents, and it was during his battle with them that he lost his eye. Muscular scores a 5 out of 5 for both power and speed, so he has a really strong quirk, but he scores only a 1 out of 5 in intelligence. The name of his quirk is Muscle Augmentation, its type is Transformation, and it works at close range. This quirk enables Muscular to transform or augment his muscle fibers in order to become both stronger and faster. His quirk is incredibly powerful when it comes to physical strength. It allows him to smash rocks to bits, and he was even able to take the force of Deku's 100% Detroit Smash without suffering much damage. Up next is Magne. Real name Kenji Hikishi. Magne has long red hair, large lips, and he is known for his ruthlessness and cruelty. He was a hardened criminal who committed multiple robberies and murders before joining the League of Villains. The name of his quirk is Magnetism, and it enables Magne to magnetize everyone within 4.5 meters of where he is standing. He uses the magnetic properties of his quirk to manipulate the movement of his opponents, either their entire body or a specific part of their body. Women and men have different magnetic poles according to the rules of this quirk, and if he magnetizes two people of the same gender, Magne will actually make them repel each other with great force. Magne is not able to use his quirk on himself, but even without his quirk, Magne is extremely skilled in hand-to-hand combat. Then we have Mr. Compress. Allegedly one of the most intelligent villains in the world, Mr. Compress is a former entertainer. I assume that he was a magician or illusionist of some sort, judging by his cool outfit. And he also has a very interesting quirk. The name of his quirk is Compress, its type is Emitter, and it works on contact. This quirk enables Mr. Compress to literally shrink or compress everything within a certain physical zone into a small marble. Mr. Compress can trap people inside these marbles and render them powerless, and he is also able to quickly turn everything inside the marble back to its normal size when he wants to do it. As long as he can touch his target, he can shrink and trap them inside the marble, and he can even make himself smaller for short periods of time in order to dodge attacks from opponents. On top of his quirk, he has exceptional acrobatic skills, speed, and intellect. And the final member of the Vanguard Action Squad is Moonfish. Easily the creepiest villain out there, Moonfish apparently escaped from death row and now wears S&M gear while his mouth remains forced open with metal clamps. He seems to be obsessed with meat and flesh, especially the flesh of his opponents. His quirk has been referred to as dental manipulation, and essentially it allows him to transform his teeth into extremely strong and sharp blades that he can use both to attack and also to help him move out of the way of oncoming attacks. And I will also say that during the school trip arc, we see another Nomu with the Vanguard Action Squad. This Nomu appears to have a transformation type quirk similar to Mezo Shoji that allows the creature to grow multiple arms and fill them with deadly weapons such as drills and chainsaws. And after the school trip arc, we jump right into the Hideout Raid arc, where we finally learn more about All For One, the mastermind behind the League of Villains. All For One was once the most powerful villain in all of Japan and All Might's greatest enemy. He is known for wearing a mask that is reminiscent of Darth Vader, and beneath the mask he appears to have a severely scarred and disfigured face. In addition, he has breathing tubes that can be seen sticking out of his neck, implying that he was gravely injured at some point in his life, which is also very much like Darth Vader. All For One's quirk is also called All For One, and it allows its user to steal the quirks of others and use them for himself. On top of that, All For One also allows its user to transfer the stolen quirks onto other people. The unfortunate individuals who have their quirks stolen by All For One are sometimes left in a vegetative state similar to a coma. That is pretty brutal in itself, but in addition to that, some people who receive a stolen quirk as a result of All For One are unable to handle them, and they themselves become mindless creatures capable of nothing but following orders, just like Nomu. And even more than that, All For One can combine multiple stolen quirks in one person in order to create more powerful super quirks that never would have occurred naturally. We know that One For All is a quirk that is passed on from one person to the next so that they can use it to help others. But All For One seems to be the opposite of that, because it brings multiple quirks together in one person so that all of those quirks are working for the benefit of that single individual. And of course, the epic clash between One For All and All For One will be an important theme throughout Season 3, and I personally can't wait to see it animated. During the Hideout Raid arc, we are also introduced to some new pro heroes, including the number 10th ranked pro hero, Gang Orca. Real name Kugo Sakamata, his quirk makes him a cross between a man and an orca whale. The name of his quirk is Killer Whale, its type is mutant, and it works at close range. As a result of his quirk, Gang Orca can use the powers of a killer whale. He is large, strong, an excellent swimmer, and he can produce a sound wave that paralyzes his opponents. His weakness is that being part marine animal makes him prone to dehydration when he is not in water, so he always carries water with him in case he needs to pour it on himself to prevent dehydration. Gang Orca is based on a character called Sakamata from Kohei Horikoshi's earlier manga series called Omagadoki Zoo. In this earlier manga, zoo animals can take on a humanoid form, and another My Hero Academia character who was inspired by a character in Omagadoki Zoo is the snake hero Uwabami. Then we have the number 5 ranked pro hero Edshot. Real name Shinya Kamihara. He kind of looks like a modern day ninja. The name of his quirk is Fold a Body, its type is transformation, and it works at close range. This quirk enables Edshot to fold and stretch his body, which gives him great stealth and agility. This quirk is similar to Tiger's Playa Body quirk, however, Edshot is able to transform his body faster than the speed of sound, which makes him much faster than Tiger. Edshot is even able to twist and turn his body into a sharp weapon and strike his opponents before they even see him coming. Next we have Nana Shimura, introduced as a memory from All Might's past. Nana was a friend of Gran Torino and All Might's former mentor. She was the 7th user of the transferable quirk known as One For All. Nana was known for her commitment to justice and for always doing her best to help others with a smile on her face. But sadly, sometime after transferring her quirk onto All Might, she was murdered by the mastermind behind the League of Villains. When she had One For All, just like All Might, she had superhuman strength, speed, agility, and reflexes. We can assume that along with One For All, Nana Shimura had a second quirk, but we have no idea what type of quirk it was. Also in Season 3, we will likely get glimpses of some of the UA students' parents. This includes Jiro's dad, who is a rock star, and Bakugo's mom and dad. By the way, Bakugo's mom seems like an even bigger badass than Bakugo. Now, Season 3 might end after the Hideout Raid arc, but it might also go into the Hero License Exam arc, where we get to meet characters from other Japanese hero schools. we will meet Emi Fukukado, aka Miss Joke, the Smile Hero. A teacher at Ketsubutsu Academy, Miss Joke is a young pro hero with a great sense of humor and a cheerful attitude. She has known Eraserhead for a long time. They used to work near each other, and Miss Joke seems to enjoy flirting with him even though he doesn't return her flirtatiousness. The name of her quirk is Outburst, its type is Emitter, and it is said to have the ability to force people around her to laugh to the point that they can no longer control themselves, and so she can literally paralyze villains with laughter. When I first read about her quirk in chapter 103, I couldn't help but think of the Joker from Batman and his laughing gas that he uses as a weapon. Also from Ketsubutsu Academy, we have Yeol Shindo, a sly and determined second-year student with a powerful quirk. The name of his quirk is Shake, its type is Emitter, and it works at long range. As a result of his quirk, Shindo can generate powerful earthquakes when he makes contact with the ground, and he is generally able to control the intensity of the quake. If he uses too much power at once, he may experience some physical blowback from the aftershocks. During this same arc, we also meet a number of students from Shiketsu High, another well-known hero school. First, we have Inessa Yoarashi, whose hero name is Gale. A Shiketsu High first-year student, he actually took part in the UA entrance exam with Todoroki and Deku. Even though he performed really well and finished the exam just ahead of Todoroki, he decided to decline the offer of admission and go to Shiketsu High instead. Inessa is a high-energy guy, and he seems to believe that true heroes have a fiery spirit that instills fear into villains and inspires everyone around them. In this way, he reminds me of Kamina from Gurren Lagann, my favorite anime character of all time. As a child, Inessa used to admire pro hero Endeavor, but after he tried to get Endeavor's autograph and the hero simply brushed him aside and told him to stay out of his way, Inessa felt that this was not the type of spirit that a true hero would have. After the younger Todoroki gave him a similar response when he tried to congratulate him during the UA entrance exam, Inessa started to resent both the father and the son. Inessa has a wind-based emitter-type quirk that works at long range. He can create and control wind, and he has demonstrated a great deal of precision with his power. He can use the wind to launch himself at faster speeds and to create powerful offensive attacks like tornadoes. During the first round of the hero license exam, he was able to eliminate 120 rivals at once, which speaks to his incredible power. Next we have Kami, another first-year student at Shiketsu High. We first meet her, kind of, during the hero license exam arc. I can't say much about her and her quirk without spoiling the plot, but I will say that her appearance in the manga is very interesting and memorable. Next is Seiji Shishikura, a second-year Shiketsu High student. Seiji has an inflated sense of pride and self-worth, and he tends to look down on others, especially the students from other schools. He has a very strange meat processing quirk currently referred to as Meatball, which is a transformation type quirk that works at long range. This quirk allows Seiji to control and alter human flesh, such as turning the bodies of rival students into motionless balls of meat. He can also break off his own body parts and control them separately from his body. In chapter 107, we see that his quirk allows him to effectively take on a large number of opponents at once. His one known weakness is that if he suffers enough damage, the effects of his quirk will wear off, and the opponents he immobilized up to that point using his quirk will become mobile again. Finally, we have Nagamasa Mora, second-year Shiketsu student and class rep for his class. Mora's body is entirely covered in hair, and the first thing I thought when I saw this guy was that he must be inspired by cousin It from the Addams Family. Mora seems to be the calm and rational one out of the Shiketsu group, and he acts in a civil and polite way towards the UA students. His mutant-type long-range quirk allows him to extend his hair in all directions, which enables him to use the hair as a weapon against multiple opponents at once. And finally, at the very end of Season 3, I think that we may be introduced, at least briefly, to the next major villain, so in case we do, I will talk about him here. First introduced at the end of chapter 115, Overhaul is the leader of the 8 precepts of death. His real name is Chisaki. He hates dirty places and he thinks that everyone around him is sick and filthy. His goal is to become the undisputed ruler of the criminal underworld, and he doesn't hesitate to destroy anyone who stands in his way, be they heroes or villains. The name of his quirk is Overhaul, the type is emitter, and it works on contact. His quirk allows Overhaul to disassemble anything he touches, only to reassemble it again later if he chooses to. When he uses it against an opponent, the opponent will experience incredible pain and become incapacitated. But their body parts will later be reassembled with all of their past injuries and illnesses cured. Using his quirk appears to take a physical toll on Overhaul. He develops a rash and itching, which might feed into his irrational fear of illnesses. And that is it! All of the characters that will appear in My Hero Academia Season 3 explained based on the information that we have so far. If you made it this far into the video, first of all, thank you so much, because I know it's long, but I hope that it's gonna be useful for you to have all of these Season 3 characters in one place. If you wanna let me know that you made it this far, please drop a hashtag Season 3 hype in the comments. If you enjoyed this type of video and want to see more, be sure to text or smash that like button to let me know. We have many My Hero Academia videos on the channel already, and many more are on the way, so if you are new, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys!